Hello everyone and welcome, Gackomas here, and if you're like me, you're well excited for the new season of Game of Thrones. Unless you're one of those people who was like, what the fuck, no, I really liked him, I'm never watching this show again! Of course, if you haven't watched all the way to the end of the last season, or if you even haven't watched it at all, that won't make any sense, but still, winter is coming. Apparently. So yes, Game of Thrones is coming back soon, so I decided to check out one of the games set in the Game of Thrones world called Game of Thrones. This is going to get confusing. Now, if you've been living under a rock and don't know what Game of Thrones is, then I'm not sure if I can really explain it without giving away a single spoiler, but I'll give it a go. Game of Thrones is a TV series made for HBO and has been created by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. It is based off the book series A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. I asked Edney how to describe it without giving away any spoilers, and this is what she said. Game of Thrones is like Skyrim, Lord of the Rings, and porn, all rolled into one. Now that's an interesting thought. Anyway, enough about the show, and onto the game with the same fucking name. The game was developed by Klindig Studios, and was published by Focus Home Interactive. The game also seems to have been licensed by HBO itself, so I guess it's going to be relevant to the show. Now, being a fan of the show, I was interested in this game because it's an action RPG, but I was thinking to myself, who am I going to play? Surely it would have to be someone who is completely made up, or someone who only appears in the books. I have never read any of the books. In fact, I've never read any books. So let's see, shall we? Opening the game, we agree with the opening menu and the opening music theme from the show. Now, I can't play this as a fear of copyright infringement or some other crap, but rest assured, it is pretty epic, as I'm sure fans of the show will definitely agree with. Starting the game gives an intro cinematic narrated by Varys. I think that's how you pronounce his name. One of the characters who is in both the game and the show, and it's even voiced by the same actor. Well, I guess this is a good start. He gives you a brief history of the game, or show as well, and then explains about the Night's Watch, a group of men who protect the wall that cuts the continent in half from the things living to the north of it. Then finally we meet our first character, Mors Westford, a knight of the Night's Watch. I asked Edney, who has read the books, if she had heard of this character, and she said no. No problem, I guess that means that I don't know what's coming, because it's a completely made up story. Yay! You also get to play as Alistair Sarwick, a Red Priest of R'hllor, who has returned home to attend his father's funeral. Edney's told me that he's not in the books either, so yeah. Now, story. I won't be giving away any important spoilers, but there will be some minor ones. The story is split up into chapters, and if you're familiar with Game of Thrones, either the show or the books, you'll know it has lots of twists and turns in it. Well, this game is no different. Both of the characters have been living in exile for the past 15 years, one at the Wall and one as a Red Priest. Both of the characters have been living in exile for 15 years. I wonder if that would be relevant. The story kind of switches between the two characters, and eventually they meet, and turns out, yeah, you guessed it, they know each other from 15 years ago. They are war veterans from the rebellion, but as the story continues, you get thrown all over the place with what happened in their past and what is currently going on. Both of the characters have their own objectives and seem to be using the other to achieve it. But one thing I was getting a little bit pissed off with is the fact that the game never seemed to end. It just kept throwing twists and turns in it just to make the game seem that little bit longer. I think I counted about 3 or 4 points in the game where it could have ended it would have made sense, but in the interest of making it longer, they were like, I know, let's change this for no reason. That'll make the player happy. It fucking didn't. Now, don't get me wrong, I like a good story, but having twists thrown in just to make the game longer is as annoying as hell. Towards the end, I just found myself bored as shit just only playing to get to the fucking ending. But, was it worth it? In short, kinda. The end kinda made the game make sense. I don't think they really left many questions unanswered. But from what I can work out, there are 2 endings. However, you get to pick what fucking ending you want. You think the choices you made throughout the game would mean something, but no, you get to pick your fucking ending. What kind of bullshit is this? It's like the game kind of went, you know what, you made it this far. What ending would you like to see? Fucking stupid! Okay, on to gameplay. Now from time to time you'll get these pop-up tutorials. However, if you're a slow reader like me, you'll probably not be able to read them in time. But they're all stored away in the codex on the escape menu. Damn, there's a lot of empty spaces in this codex. I hope I don't have to read all of these. Okay, so the controls. Press and hold the right click to move the camera and the arrow keys to move. Press and hold. Arrow keys. Luckily you can change the key bindings. Oh, so WASD were already set to primary. Why the fuck didn't it just say so? But I'm sure I don't have to hold down the right mouse button to always turn the camera, do I? I'm sure it will just stay behind me when I'm walking around. Oh dear, the camera stays completely fucking still unless I'm holding the right mouse button down. And that's not all. When I'm in a heavily populated area, the camera likes to jump around all over the bloody place. I'm certain it's not my computer. I mean, I have it on minimum graphics with a computer that far exceeds the minimum specifications for the game. But at times it made the game almost fucking unplayable. You know what? That's it. I quit. This game was made for fucking consoles, simple as that. Okay, I'll continue on. At least there's an option for gamepad. So, now you get a chance to explore Castle Black. That is a place that's in the show quite a bit, so it's quite nice to be able to explore it. But, how do I tell where I am? There is this mini-map type thing, but it just seems to act more like a compass, showing me where doors and quest objectives are. Oh, and where my dog is, of course. Never leave home without your dog, especially if it's a bloodthirsty killer. No, the only way to check the map is with the M key, and they decided it was a good idea to have this fucking fog of war type thing on it. And you can't even close the map with the M key again. No, you have to hit escape or click on the little close button. Why? All I want to do is open the map quickly to find out where I'm going to continue on. My finger's already over the M key. Why not just let me close the map with it? Also, why don't you just show the minimap a bit better so I can see where I'm bloody going? Urgh! One of the advantages of exploring is that you can find lore about the location you're in, but there's so bloody much of it to read, I feel you might go insane if you read it all. If I wanted to read this much, I'd just read the bloody books. Okay, maybe not. Right, let's see how combat works. So, what do I do? Do I just click and watch them fight? Yes, I know I can use my abilities, well, out of the two of them I have, and pressing the spacebar to choose them is nice, as it doesn't stop time as it does in most action RPGs. But it might as well have. It slows it to within an inch of its life, and I can only use my abilities a few times before I have to wait for my energy to recharge anyway. Mind you, I must admit that watching a fight in slow motion is kind of fun, as everything is slowed down, even the sound. It's also nice that your dog fights alongside you, but overall, it seems that the combat is really weak for an RPG. I know, it's only the first fight in the game, but trust me, it doesn't get much better than this. Yeah, there are some abilities that do more damage to enemies with certain effects on them, and weapons that do more damage to certain enemies' armor types, but that's about as much skill as you need in combat. Right, I feel I'm giving the game too much stick, so let's focus on the game's RPG elements. There's quite a few elements that make an RPG, well, an RPG, so let's see if this game has them. Ignoring the obvious, you know, the story that I've already gone over, we have different classes. Yeah, a common thing in RPGs. There are 3 different classes per character, and you don't even have to read what they do, you can basically just look at your character and see what weapon he's holding. You also get to distribute some stat points, choose some skills from the skill tree, and finally choose some character's traits. You know, basic RPG stuff. Now, leveling is an important aspect in an RPG. The leveling system here seems fairly basic, with you gaining experience from beating enemies and completing quests. So nothing special really. Speaking of quests, most decent RPGs will have some fun and interesting side quests that will be optional but help you in your main quest. Well, this game kinda has that, but it's strange. Whereas you can normally complete side quests any time after getting them, there are points in this game where certain side quests become uncompletable. I hate this fact, especially as it doesn't tell you until about Chapter 3 that some side quests have a time limit, and by this time you've already missed a few. It also doesn't tell you when side quests become uncompletable, so you kind of just have to guess. Plus, some of them are just downright fucking boring and serve no purpose to the main story or for character development, just making the game longer. Luckily they're bloody optional. Another thing in most, if not all RPGs, is money and stuff to spend it on, but the currency here is strange. It's a basic gold, silver and copper system, but it's like 24 copper to 1 silver and 220 silver to 1 gold. How do I know this? Did it tell me? Did I work it out? Well, the loading screen has some information about the game as well as some quotes from characters from the show. However, one of the last tips I got off of one of the last loading screens told me. Now, I feel it would have been nice to know a little bit earlier, but it's not as if you're going to end up with like 1,000,000 gold. And it automatically changes to the higher value anyway. As to what you can spend your money on, well, that's limited in a way. Each class has a certain type of armor and weapon which is better with, although you can use any equipment you want, it just won't be as effective. So spending your money is based on what type of armor and weapons you use. There is no level requirement for gear, but the better gear costs more gold. As you progress through the game more merchants become available. You can also get potions to use in battle, but they're very limited and not really that useful. So the RPG elements of the game are weak. Very weak, if to say to the point where it would have been best if it was just an action-adventure game. There are a few hidden things to find, and you can use your dog to track people as well, which is kind of cool, but also quite annoying with the controls. There are also some mild puzzle elements to the game, but nothing worth talking about really. Oh, and don't forget there are a few glitches. I didn't find any game-breaking ones, just funny ones, like making people talk in slow motion.
He began to live more and more in the past.
I'm not sure why you can do this, but it's funny as hell. Also, where's this man's weapon gone? He had it before, but now it's gone. And why is he still walking as if he's still holding it? Was he like, oh crap, I forgot my weapon. Let's just pretend to still have it. And these guys here, they're just walking on the spot at the end. Why didn't they just script it so they walk a little bit slower? And what about this guy just standing on the exact spot where the cutscene takes place? or this guy who's just plain getting in the way of everything. However, I did find one kind of annoying glitch. Some doors need to be completely open in order for you to pass them. I mean, come on, I'm pushing forward. There is blatantly enough space for me to pass this door, but it won't let me pass. So in conclusion, the story is okay, I guess. If you're a massive fan of the show or the book, you will probably like the story. Also, getting to explore some of the places in the world is kind of cool too. However, this is only if you can get past the borderline fucking boring and frustrating gameplay features. So if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you might like this game for the story, so maybe buy it when it's on sale. But if you're just looking for a good action RPG game, I highly recommend you run away from this game and never look back. Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to subscribe, as there will be more videos like this in the future. Also leave a comment if you want. It's up to you. It's not like I can control you. You're not a game.